Of some of the soldiers,
I suppose.
more than Dave Wallop and Stephen, Lofty Murphy and Johnny Well and all those, Paddy Roll, all of them, they were all in it. My father told me there was about 60 IRAs in their line, but they kept to go for a while, but they were doing things that nobody has heard of.
That's very true.
Ever win.
Yeah, that's true. What did they call it? The gun cotton raid and so forth. You could tell.
The raid was in Timothy after his boat, my father-in-law, after that, and they couldn't bring it all. They brought nearly 2 tons.
Oh boy.
In an 18-foot boat.
Of arms that they took out of the dump over.
Only that was all over the water. Mostly gun cotton and fuses and explosives. And the British Navy was in the harbour. They were in and out through them. And I said to father-in-law, I said, were you scared? No, he said, I was gasping for a bag. I couldn't smoke. But they brought them out to the mainland, and Eugene Dunn was outside the mainland here, the post office in Adderwall after us. And he sent him, there was a train from Bantry that day, he sent him by train up to Cork.
About that, yeah. Got out, right out under their noses and away there.
The big ambushes and that, all the explosives, that's what it was from Bere Island.
So most of the activity of the Bere Island IRA was to put you getting stuff up because of the army being here. Yeah.
Father and Uncle Jim, and they were outside, and they used to be firing at Irene's barracks, and they burned the Coast Guard station and other places like that. When it finished and the Civil War started, that was very bitter. Some houses that they go to for something to eat or something.
Nothing doing.
A lot of independence there, you couldn't approach them. It was 100 miles, 100 miles. They were very bitter. And Mrs. Arkham here, her brother was shot near Roscoe.
Is that right?
Yes, and my father But my father was in it for about 6 weeks because there was a British soldier lying and waiting for an arm to shoot him.
My gosh.
I never found out why. What was the reason? Father must have
But
shot
they had that information at least, yeah.
Yeah.
And it saved his life.
Uncle Jim stayed in the Civil War right to the very end.
He did.
And he had to escape then in one of the mackerel boats which went to Dublin.
Yes. Yeah. And he was on the run right here in the mountains here in Bere Island, I suppose.
And
that was tough.
Your uncle, was it Tim?
Tim
went to America, he went out in the trawlers.
That's right, yeah.
He was at Irene's barracks, he was loading the guns. He was sitting with his back up against the wall, and there was some ricochet or something, and it hit the pipe over the post.
I had 2 uncles were involved, one from my father's side, one from my mother's side, and they were involved in the RIC barracks over again in Allies. Oh my gosh, they were finally pinpointed by the British Army, of course, and my uncle, he somehow got onto a merchant ship here or something. He wound up in Buenos Aires, and he eventually made it to the United States, of course, and didn't come back. And then the other uncle you mentioned, Uncle John, that was more of a daring escape, really. A contractor, civilian contractor within the compound over, I guess, heard that they were going to be coming to arrest him. The army were going to send a detail to arrest him, and it took about 2 or 3 messengers to come across the island to tell him, and he eventually got onto a British fishing boat and went out the harbour's mouth. He eventually wound up via Canada, I guess, wound up in America too. Sad, it was tough. Imagine their parents, what they went through.
Better off in America because after the Civil War, there were the hungry Turkish and that. There was nothing doing in Ireland, whatever about America or Britain.
Probably true.
Nothing at all.
And they all did well there, you know. That's the thing there. Grandmother talked a lot about the tough times when it was probably coming up around after 1916 and so forth, and your house and my house, they could knock on the door of the army in the middle of the night at gunpoint and read the names were supposed to be written who was there that night, and then my father mentioned about my grandmother, poor thing, pacing the floor, saying the rosary, and one of her sons upstairs in bed, and they were at gunpoint trying to get something out of him. Yes. He may not have been involved in something directly, but just to get information.
My mother was working that time in Michael, the post office, the butcher, the wife.
Yes.
Everyone in the house had to come down, say their name, but like whatever you say, there was no women attacked. They were respectful.
Yeah, you're probably right. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it. 2 of her sisters married English sailors.
Okay.
The rest of them went to America. And Her father was, you could say, a unionist. He was, when the treaty, he was pro-treaty anyway. He didn't want any fighting or anything like that.
Yes,
And
yes. At one stage, Dunboy Castle, of course, Puxley's old castle was
Oh,
burned.
yes.
Now, what year would that be about, John?
I think 1920.
Would it be? Yeah. My father talked about that. He said, oh, for days you could smell, I guess it drifted across
Yes.
Bere Island.
How
You
that
could smell
started,
the
Michael Collins, and incidentally,
Yeah.
Father and Uncle Jim, they adored Michael Collins. They wouldn't hear a word against him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, who wouldn't? I
And in
mean, my
fact,
God,
I
he
was
was a great
talking to a
man.
man lately. Oh, he was a great man. He said, he was strong from the fatherland. But Michael Collins gave orders to burn the big houses.
Okay, yes, right.
See,
Yeah.
they were all unionists. And of course, the British Army couldn't protect. And that is why the truce was called.
Yes,
That
Yeah.
was the only way they could stop the burning.
the burning.
If the person that owned the big house, if he was good to the people, especially during the famine, the people would protect the house and tell the area was stay away from it.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
if he wasn't a good guy, they wouldn't the house.
That's true.
And Huxley was not a nice gentleman.
Evidently not, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was up just last week, we were at a wedding up there in Dromoland Castle in County Clare, and beautiful, oh my gosh, what a mansion that is. And that was slated to be burned, they were ready to put the match to it, but the local people appealed to the IRA,
Yeah.
he wasn't the bad guy at all, so it was saved, and gosh, what a
But
beautiful
that's
thing.
why the truce was called.
Yeah. They couldn't
They
protect them.
got orders. There was a letter came from Cork by trade, actually, and a shopkeeper in town, he got the letter and brought it to town and saw that Liam Dwyer, he got it, and they all gathered at Dunboy Castle the Saturday evening. Uncle Jim was there, my father, and people from outside, and this fellow arrived with a barrel of petrol. They were drawing turf to that time of the year,
Okay.
and there was turf all around to the lake, and brought it down, and they took it out, and they had buckets, and they started above and top. They put petrol in the bed, and out along, and all along
Oh,
the
wow.
corridor, down the stairs, do the same the next story, down the stairs, out to the front door, and Liam Doyle dipped a cushion in petrol, that right into it. My father said, whoosh, he
I
said,
bet
it
you.
was terrible.
Yeah.
And it was to the whole play.
The whole thing, yeah.
Before they did that, he said, anyone that goes looting, he said, I'll shoot in the wild.
Really?
I like to have a souvenir, so I said, fine, but nothing expensive. I think Uncle Jim got a glass bowl, but I'm not sure. Father took Murthy sword
Oh,
up
that-
over the
That would
purpose
be interesting.
that he got from the Empress Eugene of Austria.
Oh.
And he stuck it in the bush. But when it was burning, he was running around waving the sword to prevent Murthy off. Uncle Jim said it was highly embarrassing.
How about that?
And Uncle Jim said to Liam Dwyer, he said it's a shame to burn it. Beautiful. It was started in 1857.
But it contributed to the treaty, I suppose, you know, that because they couldn't
Liam
save
Dwyer,
them.
years ago, a couple of years ago, there was a girl who came in from the community school to ask me about it. Nobody outside would talk about it.
We'll talk about it, aren't we then?
This was about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I asked her her name. She told me she was Amanda Murphy from Drumlask. Oh, I said, you're related to me. I
How about that?
great-grandmother, Mary Murphy from Drumlask. Oh, yes, she said, I am. I said, when you said. But they got very high marks in their exam
Good.
because of it.
Yeah, that's
It was
how
a
about that.
classic
That's
ship.
it. Now then, of course, sadly then the Civil War, you know,
The Civil War,
started
yes.
up, and that was an uneasy time, obviously.
I remember my grandmother, when she went to confession, the priest, Father was, wouldn't give her absolution. Because he said, you were sons of the Civil War. He said, I want you home, she said. He said, what do you do? She said, I'm managing my own. So she went out the door, and if she did, he came after her. Mary Sullivan, he said, what do you do if the law calls you? Oh, I'll be fine, she said, I managed.
Yeah, how about
And then she turned back again, but what about you fellows? She said, how do you think you'd get on? He brought her in.
that? I gave her the absolution. How about that first story?
She was violent Republican.
She wasn't going to change, huh?
They had some remark that the priest made to my father, the same priest, he was going to hit Father's umbrella, and Father squared after him. He said, if you hit me, Father, I'll hit you back.
How about that? Yes.
But he was, Father was. He was a nice man. There was no radio, no television. Now you can find out everything in 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
That time it filtered
It
down.
filtered down and took time,
People were more
naturally.
naive, I suppose.
Yeah.
They weren't as sophisticated as the people now.
Yes.
They'd be taken up with what they'd read.
Yes.
They take it as factual, you know. You read the Civil War, it didn't affect Bere Island.
Not as much
No.
as other.
There was no fighting like that.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
There was fighting in town. Where the hospital is, that was the workhouse.
The hospital area.
And there was some fighting going on there. There was a machine gun being used. And I was telling you, Patsy Lowney, you were married to her aunt.
That's right.
He was going scallop fishing. And his neighbour, I suppose, Con Murphy. And when they were going down in Mount of Vere, the pipe, the board of the pipe was shot out.
Oh my gosh.
He blessed and said, is that the island of saints and scholars.
Oh my gosh. I'd help us.
So they went fishing anyway.
Good.
But about Huxley,
Yes.
Huxley, Mrs. Collins over here, she was Conroy from Oakley Dunbar.
Mhm.
When she was a child, her father was killed in Dunbar,
For goodness sake.
and he gave the widow 10 shillings compensation.
I'd help us. Yes.
And then after 2 or 3 years, the widow was evicted with her children.
Is
One of
that
them
right?
being Mrs. Hull,
Yes.
and they went to live with their old lady, the grandma.
Yes. No bother. Tough times. Tough
Oh,
times. No bother.
Then you had after the
That's good.
Civil War, the country having the military. You had the hungry 30s and that,
Okay.
and in America, in Britain, everywhere.
Absolutely.
I remember to hear my mother say that the politics was, you know, tree meat, you had that economic war.
The economic war, yes. That was up in
Ireland-
the early 30s, I guess,
Ireland
right?
had to pay, that was in the treaty,
Mhm.
had to pay England 3 million every year for war reparation or something.
I see some who later were in politics got into the Free State government, I guess, and into the being a foil later on.
After Ryan.
Oh yeah, he'd been Minister for Health at one
Oh,
stage.
yes, that's right.
Way in old time, I guess he was. So he would have been fairly young when he was here. And then
More was well, Alfred O'Reilly,
O'Reilly.
professor.
Yeah.
He became a priest in his old age.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Michael Collins, he wasn't there, but his brother was there, apparently.
Yes,
And then there was that Jim Barry, Tough Barry, they call him. He used to train the Cork hurling team for years
Right,
afterwards.
yeah.
He was actually interned over there. So that, of course, wasn't in operation too long, I guess, because the treaty came and
The
then
treaty,
that
yeah,
ended it. Yeah. But it did affect Bere Island people during, the escapes.
It did, yes. The
Yeah.
treaty, then you have people that were pro-treaty and anti-treaty.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'd say Bere Island was about evenly divided. I often go through the houses that were there that time, and I have a good idea.
You would have an
And
idea?
About half and half, I'd say. But there was never any bitterness or anything like that.
Figured on that because Bere Island was one of the few places where the British Army
The
stayed
port,
on
yeah.
till
The
1938.
agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave a lot of employment at the same time, and also the shopkeepers. Funny enough, the shopkeepers inside the line, the 3 or 4, they were very Republican.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I think Patsy Murphy and
Yeah, well, that's true.
soldiers
Even
and
though they were trading with the British
Oh,
to a
yes,
big degree.
that's
Yeah.
the other thing.
Mhm. That's true.
And more of them as well, like you, Johnny Mullins, who was a county councillor eventually.
Yes.
They were the Murphys
Oh.
and
All on the Republican side.
Oh,
yeah.
and still
Big time.
are.
Quite a few Bere Island girls, I suppose, even married the
Oh,
British
really? Some
Army
families, some of them
personnel at that time.
the Irish Army and some in the English Army.
Is that right?